Hello, I'm Sandy Arnett. On this edition of Commuter Connections, we'll take a look at how MTA is using social media to reach customers and the public with information about transit in Maryland. MTA has a new podcast and a new team member that we'll introduce you to. You'll meet our 2016 MTA Bus Rodeo champion and also our MTA Police Officer of the Year. All here on this edition of Commuter Connections. Welcome to Commuter Connections. MTA's mission is to provide Marylanders safe, efficient, reliable transit with world-class customer service. Communicating with customers and the general public is certainly an important part of that. MTA does this by way of traditional media, but also through a number of new and enhanced social media efforts. MTA Project Manager and social media producer Jerry Hanlon joins us with a look at what MTA is doing in the area of reaching the public through social media. Welcome to Commuter Connections, Jerry.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you.
So tell us, how long has MTA had its social media platforms?
We started around 2011, and I helped to set up the initial platforms on Facebook and Twitter. And I say helped because I'm not the technical guy, but I do have a background in writing. So I was helpful in guiding the way we ought to be talking to people and the kinds of things that we would put on, largely recognizing that people want to know where their bus is or where their train is and the various modes and how to get there, and that's our main focus.
Okay, so what would you say is the whole purpose? I know you mentioned, letting people know about whether their transit mode is on time. What else are you doing, to kind of communicate with the public?
Well, the whole purpose of social media is to reach people where they are. The whole landscape about how to communicate with folks all over the world has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. And social media presents an opportunity to listen to our riders to find out what they mostly are interested in. And we know that that's getting safe, efficient, reliable transit with world-class customer service. So by listening to them, we pass along many of their comments to the administrators and folks who run the MTA to get it, to make sure that we are actually bringing into action the things that they're saying. About 70% of the people who check out MTA's online presence are on smartphones. So our goal is to reach them where they are, and we keep our message simple and straightforward to that extent, while also telling the broader MTA story.
So tell me, Jerry, how many social media platforms is MTA currently on?
Currently, we're on 9 social media platforms, and it seems to be growing all the time. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. We do our blog, and there's also Google Plus that we're on. And I don't know if I've remembered all of them, but I do know that we are busy on them every day, posting at least something.
Okay, so how often are you posting a day?
Our goal is to post 3 to 5 times daily, and this is in addition to the other posts that you'll see about service issues. Mark Train has its own platform that they feed into our regular feed, so there's a lot of things about how the service is being updated on a regular basis continuously. But the more of the storytelling things that we try to post are between 3 and 5 a day.
Okay, and where do you get the content for that?
We are turned into a bunch of reporters. It's a team effort. I'm not the only one, but there are plenty of people who are feeding us stories all the time. We have a video crew that goes out as well, sometimes using just our smartphones to capture people doing the job that they do for the riders of MTA. And it's a challenge to find the more interesting stories, but we've come up with some good ones. A few years back, there was a guy who went to children's homes and performed as a clown, and he's a bus driver for MTA.
Oh, okay.
And there are thousands of those kinds of stories, and it's our job to go out and find them.
Oh, okay. Now, what has been the response? What are you hearing back from MTA customers about social media?
We're finding that people love videos and respond to them, and actually the response to a video versus a still photograph or something like that is at least double and sometimes 5 times as much, because there's a chance to get into the real human interaction of people back and forth and to have it explained. It's a video world we live in these days, so people are enjoying those largely. We try not to post anything without a picture, especially when we're doing a story. It just helps people to envision what's going on and telegraphs it a lot more immediately.
And they always say the picture is worth 1,000 words.
There
right?
you go. Yes.
Okay. And what about your followers? How many followers do you have?
We've had a steady range of followers for the first 5 years, but starting in January of this year, with the expansion of the different social media platforms, we've doubled the number of followers on Facebook and Twitter from to the point where right now we're at about 17,000 Facebook followers and around 16,000 folks who see us on Twitter every day.
Wow, so that's amazing. So that's great. It's growing. Obviously, people are checking out the platforms, getting the information, and what you're providing is of interest to them.
They are. We recognize that people are still interested mostly in where is my bus and what time can we expect it. But our goal is to not only provide that information, but to give the inside story of the MTA in a way that's friendly as the people who work inside of MTA are.
Okay, sounds good. So real quick, tell me where people can go if they really want to find out more about the social media platforms or access them.
Well, actually just go to mta.maryland.gov, and at the bottom there's a whole string of 9 platforms that we're on now. You can check out any of them, and we'll see if we can help you out and certainly listen to what people have to say.
Okay, Jerry, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sandy.
From communicating with customers through social media to another means of electronic communications, a podcast, we'll introduce you to MTA's new and exciting entry into the world of podcasting and the new voice behind that effort. Stay with us.
A moment in transit. The MTA recently closed 2 light rail stations at the BWI Business District and the BWI Airport to replace a grade crossing at Andover Road. The repairs took place between October 7th and October 11th and were completed ahead of schedule. Deputy Director Sean Adgerson tells us why the repairs were necessary.
On our BWI spur at Andover Road, we had a grade crossing there that we needed to change out and replace so that we could improve the efficiency and the ride performance of our system, of our light rail tracks. The main reason for the repair is that the grade crossing was starting to fail. We were starting to have what we call pumping action, where the subgrade that was supporting the crossing itself was starting to fail. And part of that is due to the age of the crossing. So we replaced the entire crossing. We put in a new style of crossing that allowed us better access to be able to inspect it and to make repairs should we need to make repairs. We also installed better drainage that will help to maintain the water. There should be less flooding, and we should have less problems with erosion underneath the track.
To minimize the inconvenience to passengers, the MTA provided free shuttle buses between North Linthicum and the BWI Airport station.
It was a free transfer, and we had the coaches running the exact same schedule as the trains would run. The work went very well. I mean, it was scheduled to start on the 7th of October and go through the 11th, and we actually finished about 12 hours early. Despite the fact that we had some rain over the time period that we were doing the construction, the team did a fantastic job of being out there and completing the work and getting it done timely. And I think some of the pre-work and planning, we had all the forces on site and ready to sign off on the completion of the work once the contractors did their construction. So, all in all, we were very pleased with how the construction went, that we were able to save time and get the full ride back up and running again. The customer should have a smoother ride as they go through the grade crossing there. We should also reduce the restrictions of speed going through the area, because we did have that slight pumping action. So now we can go back up to the posted speed limit. So should have a more efficient ride and a more timely ride.
By completing the repairs ahead of schedule, the MTA is continuing its commitment to provide a safe, efficient, and reliable system with world-class customer service.
A moment in transit.
In an effort to reach out to customers in new and interesting ways, MTA recently launched a weekly podcast, which features interviews and interesting stories about transit and the people responsible for keeping transit moving in Maryland. We're joined by the host of the podcast, Joanna Campbell, who is also one of the new voices of our MTA Transit Team Network. Welcome to Commuter Connections, Joanna.
Thank you, Sandy.
So, tell me a little bit about how the MTA podcast came to be.
Well, the idea came about before I came on board. Our Senior Director of Communications and Marketing, Ryan Nowacki, had the idea for a podcast, and I was approached about it during the interview process. So it just sort of came to be, and I came along for the ride.
Okay, so actually then it was launched when you officially came on board.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what general types of subject matter are you covering on the podcast now?
We're looking at the fun aspect of transit and some of the different places and things that you can go see and do using our transit system here.
Okay, and how do you come up with your ideas?
I check the calendars, honestly, the social calendars, just to see what's going on, like Free Fall Baltimore right now, things like that, and connecting with other agencies to help promote the events that are going on in town and around the area.
Oh, okay, great. So how do you decide, how do you put them together, the timing of them, how often are you posting?
We're posting once a week, and for a 3 to 5 minute piece, a lot more work goes into it than people may realize. Between booking the interviews, completing the interviews, editing and producing, and then getting, of course, everything together to get them posted online to iTunes and through our social media sites.
So are most of them done on location, or are they in the studio?
It depends on the subject and who we're talking to, but we do try to get out as much as possible.
Oh, okay. So tell me one of your more interesting podcasts.
Well, I recently spoke to Kevin Quinn, who is doing a lot of the planning for Baltimore Link, and he gave me some insights on the reverse commute. He also gave me some insights on what the next phase is for the Baltimore Link program.
And when you're out and talking with people, do you find they're a little hesitant to talk with you, or people really like to be in front of the mic?
So far, I've had good luck with people that want to be in front of the mic, and I hope that continues.
Oh, okay. Well, that's always good. You don't have to pull it out of folks, right, to get them to talk to you.
No, once I get the interview booked, they're usually pretty easy to talk to.
Okay. So I understand that you're a new member to the Transit Team Network. Tell us a little bit about that, and where can people tune in to get the Transit Team reports?
Well, 4 times an hour during morning drive and afternoon drive, we were doing the reports. Now we've added them to the midday, and that's where I come in. And that's 4 times an hour on 93.5 WTTZ, also 107.3 WMVK out of Perryville.
Okay, and what has been the reaction from customers?
I think so far so good. We've added the midday reports. We had been doing the morning drive and afternoon drive before I came on board. Now adding the midday reports helps those people that go during the off-peak times to know where they need to go and where they need to be at what time.
So what were you doing before you came to MTA?
I was a member of the CBS radio family here in Baltimore for a time. I was on Mix 106.5 doing music, but prior to that I have experience in sports with the Maryland Terrapin Sports Radio Network and in news and traffic working for what is now the Total Traffic Network, who still provides our traffic reports for our radio stations.
Oh, okay. So has your background always been in broadcasting, or have you? Okay, so this is something you knew early on that you wanted to do?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Well, you do a great job. I've heard you on the air and you sound wonderful.
Thank you.
So what would you say has been one of the most interesting things that you experienced or learned since you've been with the MTA?
I learned how much of a family it really is here, and how the people here really do care about transit and about getting to people where they need to be. From the administrator on down, everybody really is focused on making sure that we're running smoothly and on time.
Okay, well that's always good to hear, and I'm sure that the administration likes to hear that too, that you have a family work environment. Okay, so anything, coming on the horizon as far as the podcasts are concerned?
Well, the pieces with Kevin Quinn haven't launched yet, so that's sort of a little behind the scenes on that. And we'll also have some more different issues going on around town, and we'll keep up to date with some of the winter events that are going on for the holidays.
So tell us again, where can people tune into the podcast, and where can they get more information?
So we have the podcast once a week launching on our social media channels. It's also available on iTunes, and it airs on the radio stations 93.5 WTTZ and 107.3 WMVK.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks again, Joanna. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
I bet you didn't know that we have a champion in our midst. Well, we do. He's the winner of our MTA Bus Rodeo. We'll meet him next. Stay with us.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Each year, MTA brings together the best of its bus operators for a day of tough competition and test of skill at its annual bus rodeo. Only one of the competitors walks away with a championship trophy, and we're being joined by this year's best performer and rodeo winner. He's also last year's winner and still undisputed champion, Benny Williams. Welcome back to Commuter Connections, Benny.
Thank you so much.
So, how does it feel to be a champion?
It feels great. It's just all about being focused, and with me, I'm just working on some things what my grandfather taught me when I was small, to be patient. And when at your most excited moment, when everybody real excited, it's all about being patient.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm trying to be patient so I can win the big one.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, I know you tend to win year to year. You were last year's winner, you're this year's winner, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
What does it take? I mean, how are you preparing? I know you mentioned being patient.
Right.
But how do you prepare? Do you start?
I've been winning since 2012.
Okay.
So it's like by me going to the international, it gives me a chance to meet operators all over the United States. I talk to them. They look at my weakness. They tell me some of the things I need to work on. So when I get back home from the international, I get on the computer and start looking at videos. I got a notebook and I write down all my weakness.
Okay. Now you say your weaknesses. What are you talking about?
Things that I usually do on the course good in practice, but when I'm performing, I don't do that well. So what it boils down to is paying a little close attention more to the detail before I actually do it. So when I'm driving the bus through the course, things that I usually do real smooth and what I have problems with when I'm doing the performance, I just pay a close little attention to it, and then I remove the bus like that, and pretty much that puts me right in where I need to be at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I know that's the strategy that prepares you.
It's most definitely a strategy to the course. It's just not where you drive the bus and then you make a right turn, you make a left turn, and then you back up. It's a little strategy to it where you gotta, when you make a right turn, you gotta have the bus at an angle. When you do that, you gotta look at your back wheels, have your mirrors set and everything, and it pretty much put me in a good spot.
Okay, so how much training would you say you do to prepare for the competition?
Well, the international training is only 10 minutes. That's why it's so hard for me to win. But now it's like I'm over that, you know. It's like they can bring that 10 minutes to me, so I'm pretty much over that. But here in Maryland, when we do the bus rodeo competition here, they give us a week.
Oh, okay.
But it's a catch to that too, cause now it's like I limit my practice here, cause I have coworkers trying to knock me out the box.
Oh,
so
they're trying to steal some secrets, huh?
So It's one main operator. He's a good operator, but he trying to learn my moves. And try to beat me down. So so I limit my practice. So cause I had to learn the hard way. So and that's what I'm trying to show to my coworkers. For you to beat me, I'm not gonna give it to you. You got to earn it, and that's the way how it is.
So where did this year's rodeo take place and when?
It was Saturday the 24th at Ricetown Plaza.
So was it a huge crowd that comes out?
They came out. They came out kind of late, but they had me performing last. They actually wanted to see me perform, so they was like, make sure he don't go first.
Oh, okay.
So it was a nice little crowd out there. I was on top of my game that day.
So is it normal that if you win the prior year, you would go last, or would you normally lead off in the next
Actually, they
year's
gave me a
competition?
choice. They like, well, you the winner. They like, do you want to go first or last? I said, well, I go last. I don't want to. I want everybody to see me. So, I gave a good performance. For them to see, and they really like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm good with skills, but I can be better.
Oh, okay.
And
I was going to ask you, how much in preparing for the rodeo do you use in your day-to-day operations of the bus?
That's a good question, because the rodeo, what makes me so great with the rodeo is me coming to work every day. 365 days out the year, I drive that bus. It's like my second home. I know that bus inch by inch. And that's what made me great, driving that bus, with no accidents, taking people where they got to go in a safe way, being courteous to them, all of that is within my job. So it's like by me making right turns, left turns out in the atmosphere during my shift, it makes me better as a person. So when the rodeo comes, it's like I'm already doing this 365 days a year. So it's like the only thing about the course and the atmosphere, the course is just a little tighter.
Okay.
So it's like I'm used to that. So that's what makes me a better person. But I'm gonna get better every year.
So tell me real quick, what's the next step for Benny Williams? What are you doing? What's your plan next?
Well, I'm doing my homework now. My next step is to break history with MTA to win the #1 in the United States for the driving skills. Last year when I went to Charlotte, I won the Customer Service Award worldwide. That was fun.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
So it was like I came 5th in the nation in the driving skills. So now I'm like a couple steps away, winning the big one. And so I just gotta work on a couple weaknesses that I know I don't supposed to hit on the course. So it's like,
and you'll do it.
Yeah,
you'll get it done.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I have much confidence within myself.
Oh, and we do too. I wish you all the best and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next, we'll introduce you to one of MTA's dedicated employees who assists in the mission of providing customers safe, efficient, reliable transit with world-class customer service. Stay with us.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
It's not just the frontline train and bus operators and support staff who keep things moving safely in transit every day. Our agency's public safety professionals also play an important part in making it all happen. And of course, keeping transit safe for all. Today, we introduce you to one of these dedicated individuals. He's a member of our MTA police force who was recently awarded the honorable distinction of MTA Police Officer of the Year. We welcome Officer Anthony Bassalina to the program. Welcome to Commuter Connections.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Good to have you. So how long have you been with the MTA police force?
I've been one for 3 years and 3 months.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when you started up till now, is this what you envisioned it would be?
It's hard to say from what exactly I would envision police work to be, but it's definitely become what I've wanted to do.
So why did you want to become a police officer?
I've always been drawn to a challenge. Police work is just that. No 2 days are the same, and no 2 situations are the same, and it fits right into what I've always wanted to do.
So now I'm sure working with MTA Police, it's an interesting, you said no 2 days are the same.
Right.
What have been some really interesting things that you've seen on the force?
It's really hard to say. I mean, any given day is different. You may be helping our patrons and employees. You may be investigating a crime, assisting someone that was just a victim, investigating, following up on cases, and then just generally overall safety.
Oh, okay.
Things of that nature.
Are you assigned to a particular, area or a particular mode?
Yes, I work out of our northern district, so we cover bus, light rail, and metro. And with that, any and all of our stations, we have several metro stations that we service, and then we're on the trains as well. Our northern end of the light rail, and then all the bus lines that run throughout our northern district.
Okay, and are you usually partnered up, or do
No,
you
we
are you
work
out on
alone.
your own? Oh, okay, okay. So, what would you say you like most about being an officer?
Just the challenge, getting to do different things, walking into different situations, meeting different people. You're always among the public, and being a part of that is really rewarding.
So now you've been selected Officer of the Year.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It's very honored. I know that I'm in good company with the previous recipients, and I'm very honored to be recognized by my peers and my commanders.
So tell us a little bit, how do they determine who becomes Officer of the Year?
The selection process for Officer of the Year is ultimately they look back at nominees for Officer of the Month, and then also awarded for Officer of the Month, your general overall performance in every aspect of the job, and then ultimately the decision comes down from the Chief of Police.
Oh, okay. So where would you say you score highest?
I'm big on my calls for service. If it's my responsibility, I'm there. I try to solve it, and I handle everything very much the same way. All my situations are looked into thoroughly, and I always investigate everything to the fullest, and I'm very aggressive in my patrols and in my duties.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So when you were awarded Police Officer of the Year, tell us a little bit about that day. Was it a formal ceremony? What happened?
Every year, annually, they do an award ceremony. That's held at our headquarters, and that was held this year. It was ceremony just like everything else. Now, prior to the award, I didn't know that I was getting it, so it was quite a surprise.
Okay, so a surprise.
And I was very honored. It was very nice. The ceremony is always very well done. It's excellent to be a part of that.
So as you're sitting in the audience, what was being said that led you to believe they were about to call your name?
Well, when they go through, they cover officer. Everyone's been nominated for Officer of the Month throughout the whole year, and everyone's standing. You're all part of that. Last thing to do is they call an announcer. So I was already standing because I was nominated before, and I wasn't sure, but I was nominated the most for the year, so it was kind of a possibility that it might have been me.
So that's really good. They were able to keep that a secret.
Yes.
And you were surprised, so that's wonderful. What would you recommend for others who are maybe interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement?
It's not for everyone. It definitely isn't. But if you want to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself and greater than you, it definitely is a great calling and is a great profession. It also helps to be part of an agency that is ran so well from the top down. Having great leadership and the proper equipment and the proper backing from your commanders, from your frontline supervisors, all the way down to the patrol officer is a wonderful experience. So anyone getting involved in law enforcement, make sure you pick a good agency.
Oh, okay. And do you have any future plans? Are you going for that Officer of the Year for next year?
I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. If that pans out for next year, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, whoever receives it next is going to be well deserving. I'm going to continue to do my patrol duties and potentially move up someday.
Oh, okay.
Try and make command or something to that effect.
That's wonderful. I'm sure you'll do it. I'm sure you'll
hope
do
so,
it. It
but
sounds like you have the right attitude.
I certainly try. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And congratulations again on your honor.
Thank you very much.
We've come to the end of another Commuter Connections program. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care.